You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit, possibly the dumbest remark I've seen in the IRC channel all day. Bioshock was basically just a reskin of System Shock 2. Someone has never played Bioshock or System Shock 2 if they really believe that is the case. Ladies and gentlemen, the illusion of choice! Where we give you the chance to pick the last topic for the show. It's an illusion of choice, I pick it, but you provide the fodder, the source material. The wheat, which I will separate from the chaff. Mr. Frank Doctor, also known as Bunkerface, he sends in this. As a lot of stats are going out the door with Cataclysm, in what way do you think this is going to affect the variations in gear in a given tier? Are they just going to bring out less items, as less variation as possible with the new system, or do you think they can focus on more balanced but different items now some of the more difficult to balance stats are out of the equation? I think, to be honest, you answered your own question there. Yes, that is what I hope they will do. I've mentioned it before, but it bears repeating. Said it once before, but it bears repeating now. If you look at a system like the stats here, the stats started out with a certain idea in mind, and then 4 years, 5 years down the line, they have mutated, and extra bits have been added on, and it doesn't necessarily work as well as they thought it would. And the vision for stuff like Spirit has completely changed. The vision for a lot of stats has completely changed. The roles of classes have morphed. They use stats in different ways than they used to. What you've got is when you build one pile atop another, you've got this increasingly unstable house of cards that can be blown over by a slight breeze and can, at some point, become inherently broken. Now, I think that's the level that the stats have gotten to right now. There's been some nice changes, for instance. They've seen certain issues like the uselessness of Spirit for Warlocks and Mages, and they made changes to accommodate that. However, you just plonk on these extra stats, and it gets to the point where you think, well, how many more stats can we really add and keep up a solid variety of gear that actually makes sense? Now, there is, of course, the concern that Blizzard have expressed, which I don't really agree with, but I can see their point, that with too many stats, it becomes too complex for a lot of people to handle. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, but I do agree with the idea that people should be able to figure it out for themselves without having to resort to mods. Now, if that requires the rebuilding of the system from the ground up, then that's fine. With the rebuilding of the system, you bring in an opportunity to vary it more, not less. You can look at the way that things work. Say, for instance, right now, there are ways to do it. Say, look at Elitist Jerks and look at Ra, and it's going to tell you one thing. Yeah? Prioritize spell power. Prioritize spell power gemming all the time. The only time you don't do it for a mage is when the socket bonus makes it worthwhile not to. Say, for instance, you've got the Dreadstones, yeah? Dreadstones. They're, what, 12 spell power, as I recall correctly? Is it 12? Might be more than that. I think it's 12. Yeah, pretty sure it is. 12 spell power and, I believe, 10 spirit. As opposed to the Cardinal Rubies, which are 23 spell power. Now, if you have a socket bonus that gives you +9, if you happen to put a blue in it, then that makes it worthwhile, because on aggregate you've then got 23 spell power and 10 spirit versus 23 spell power raw. And of course you've also got to look at the DPS gains that you get from the meta, which have certain requirements as well. So you can optimize your gear in that way. But until you reach about 4,000 spell power, it's only worth socketing spell power. It is unequivocally the runaway stat. That's kind of a shame, isn't it? It's a shame that you can't vary without being suboptimal. Maybe I want to have a lot of haste, maybe I want a lot of crit. I can't gem for that because that's suboptimal. Now, it would be nice if there was variety in there. You're never gonna reach a point where, in a game that's based so purely on numbers, you've got loads of different balanced stats and then it just becomes a choice. But you can make it better. You can give variety. I think that's what Cataclysm's really all about. Cataclysm is rebuilding a lot of stuff from the ground up. It's rebuilding the concept of the guild by adding in all of these guild leveling systems. It's rebuilding the talent trees by remaking them, taking out a lot of useless ones, merging them together, making them more exciting. It's rebuilding the stats. And indeed, it's rebuilding the entire world. That's the theme of Cataclysm, if people haven't noticed. They're looking at what is out of date now and trying to make it better. And let's face it, a lot of the stuff in the game is 5 years old. Yeah, it's out of date. Even graphically, they're putting in a new water engine. They're putting in various tweaks and enhancements to the engine because, yes, the graphics are out of date. They still look good, and I'm certainly not one of those spurging morons on the forums that say, "Oh, well, the graphics are out of date. It looks terrible." No, it doesn't. It doesn't look terrible by any objective sense of the word. Maybe relative to Crysis it does, but it's still got a good head on its shoulders. It's still got a reasonable engine backing it up, even if it is a heavily modified Warcraft 3 engine of all things. And it still looks good. It's got this unique art style that is, to some degree, timeless. You know, we're talking about stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog and Mario World. They have this timeless art style that functions well even to this day. Sonic 2 still is a great-looking game. It's like 15 years old, and it looks great. It doesn't age, it doesn't date in the same way that other things do. WoW sort of has that too, honestly. Warcraft 3 had it to some degree, Warcraft 2 to a lesser degree, and StarCraft as well. You're looking at a unique art style, something that doesn't require DirectX 11 and hardware tessellation and the latest shaders and physics. Doesn't need that kind of thing. But they realise it could be better without sacrificing everything. That represents, hopefully, what they're looking for in stats and talents. They realise that, yeah, the stats work, but they could be better. And they can change them without completely ruining everything. They seem to be confident enough in that, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They're the guys who made the system initially. Why not? It makes sense. So yeah, I'm hoping for more variety. Who the hell isn't hoping for more variety? I think that's what Blizzard is hoping for as well. I don't think they want less variety. I don't think they want less choices. Because right now, what choices do you have? There's optimal and suboptimal, and that's it. Yeah, I would like more variety. I would like to have to make these informed decisions, hopefully. If you have a simple but deceptively complex system that you are able to make choices within without referring to mods, raw, EJ, for your information, without being told exactly this is optimal, this isn't, use this, then you are giving power back to the player to customize and grow their character as they see fit. Totally reasonable. That should be a goal for every MMO creator as far as I'm concerned. It's good to see that finally they're getting a handle on it. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Thank you ever so much for listening to the show. As always, every single last one of you is absolutely fantastic. Check out the rest of our shows on WCURadio.com and keep an eye on the front page to see what's going on as WoW Radio comes to a close and spreads out into various different sites. My site is cynicalbit.com. Many features currently being enabled. It will be officially launched on the 1st of February and everything will be in place by that time. It's time for shoutouts, folks. You've got 5 minutes to send them in. TheMurloc@gmail.com. That is TheMurloc@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can tweet me. That's Total Biscuit. Use the @ Total Biscuit to send me a short message. Or you can talk on IRC if you wish. Send me a message via IRC. irc.quakenet.org. # or pound WoW Radio. Go, go, go. Right, I do have some shoutouts here. Let's see if I can get a hold of them. Here's one. Gonna get a shout out to my girlfriend for being a first time listener and the 4 to 5 year anniversary and being a good holy lolladin and healing my ass in MGT Heroic Funny Run. Shout out is from Devilian on EU. Oh yes. Can I get a shout out to Hanks for being a sexy orc warlock and a first time listener? That's from Ava Tass. Yes, yes you can. Can I get a shout out to me for applying as a columnist to WoW.com? Well, okay. I'll be honest. There's quite a few good columnists on WoW.com. And people wonder, well, why do good columnists go to work for WoW.com? Well, tell me this. How many other WoW blogs pay you $15 a post? That's why they go. Should be obvious. Go read the Mage column. It's pretty good. Unfortunately, a lot of the good guys have actually left, but hey, as long as you don't read anything by Adam Haliski, you will be, well, I wouldn't say you'd be fine, but you'd certainly be less uninformed. Let me put it that way. Can I shout out to my new PC? That's from Nimp. No, you may not. Shout out to my guild, Knights of the Round on Alderman US. That is from Sean Caster even. And shout out to me for moving out of my parents' house, getting my own place. Yay! That's from some guy who didn't give me a name. Congratulations, nameless guy. A shout out to Zorrel and Othir on Tanaris. That's from Thud. And can I get a shout out to the Emblem of Conquest blog for providing my guild with excellent Festagut and Rotface strategies. Should have provided a link, I could have plugged them. Which helped us down these bosses for the first time from Rainy of Kil'jaeden US. A shout out to my left and right men, Merrin and Spartan Jack from Line of Arigos US. And a shout out to, I can't pronounce that, don't be ridiculous. What is that? Faizaturi of Bronze Dragonflight EU. And I think I'm probably going to sneeze. Maybe not. Possibly. No, I have not decided yet. I'll work on that later. I want to hear you pronouncing it. Yeah, there you go. I ruined it for you. Hey TB, quick shout out to all the guys over at Neptulon EU. That's Overdriven, Progression, Effigy, Tandem, and Aramar. WCU Radio archives long into the night for me, so I press my advantage on Progression in our race to 80. So cheers for them. Once again, awesome songs, GG. That's from Sci-Phil. A shout out to the Collected Souls on Uther. Us More Kittens. What? I'm disturbed. A shout out to me for my 23rd birthday on the 16th of January. That's from Testral on Azuragas EU. Hey TB, can I get a shout out to what is that? Datarion? Something like that, please? Just returning to 3.3 after 3 months off. Bring on the ICC. And a shout out to me and my cousin who's listening live for the first time. That's from Nikki. Shout out to all the good tanks that don't waste time in random dungeons, killing optional bosses and instead go straight for the frost badges that we all queued for anyway. Damn right. That's from Anul. Can I get a shout out to Linux is cool? No, it isn't. The Shaman on Neptulon EU for having a terrible name, gear, and connection. See? He's got a terrible name, gear, and connection because he's using Linux. A shout out, third time lucky, to my girlfriend Lillian, level 80 rogue on Argent Dawn EU, and my guild Dark Tide from Calon, Argent Dawn EU. I know where you live, so don't force me to go hunt you down. I'm gonna get a shout out to my guild Quad Erat Demonstrandum for supporting my stupidity from Bingingash. Okay. Hey, Mr. Total Biscuit, can I get a shout out to Garrett and Talon of Them Young Hooligans, my co-hosts in my new radio show up in Portland. Excellent. You should give me a link to that. I can plug it for you. A shout out to my boyfriend, playing WoW together with my guild Army of Darkness. Agabagabagan from Bubblegum. Yes, you may. Couple more, folks. Please, a shout out to Proven, Ikalu, and Labonte from Aries Peak. And shout out to Quantum from Aries Peak as well. A shout out to Nadia, who tuned in during Illusion of Choice. Better late than never. No, it isn't! You missed everything that was good. Download the archive after the show. That's from Aeonus, Steam Wheel Cartel EU. A shout out to all the members of the armed forces listening. There aren't many of us, but we are out there. That's from Priestley. There you go. One more. One more. Can I get a shout out to one of the craziest paladin tanks on Moonguard? That is Avalith. And that is from Sinolian of Moonguard. Ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Total Biscuit. You have been listening to the one and only Blue Please. Check out the rest of our shows on WCRadio.com. If you were thinking of donating to the tip jar, I'd suggest you go give it to Haiti instead. They need it far more than I do. Head over to tinyurl.com/earthquakedonate. Go donate to the guys over there. Make me proud. Go do it. Check out the rest of our shows, WCRadio.com. Download the archive. Subscribe on iTunes. We'll be closing on February the 1st. But that does not mean the end. All of my shows will be moving over to cynicalbrit.com. Plenty of other shows on omfgnet.com and a bunch of other places as well. Check out the front page for more news as it comes in. Thank you very much for your support, and I shall see you next time. I'll also be on the air on the Tuesday with the one and only Gaming the System. 2 hours of great gaming news and comment with myself and Swag. Now live again after several months of absence at 7 PM British Standard Time. That's 2 PM Eastern. Only on WCRadio.com for the time being, and then cynicalbrit.com. I'm done. I'm just going to go fall over and maybe eat pizza. Good night.